For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you a bit of a review video on a brand new driveway awning from Outwell. So with me here today I've got the Outwell Pine Hills driveway awning. So the Pine Hills actually fits in Outwell's new Rome collection. So it's basically a whole load of driveway awnings really hit a keen price point using fiberglass poles. So it's not going to be overly in terms of big in terms of pack size, but still has core features, actually in many ways features that you don't see on similar product around the same price point. So we're going to touch on that pretty much throughout this review video. First and foremost, what we've got is obviously a fiberglass pole driveway awning. It has a connection height from about 175 to 200. So it's that real sweet spot of like a VW camper vans, Ford Custom Transits, anything kind of that. And the connection width is 2.5 meters. You're going to connect it to your vehicle in the traditional ways that you would expect. So you can go into a rail of some sort because the awning's got a 5mm and 7mm beading on it as standard. This means you can feed directly into a reamer rail or a normal C rail or into a winder awning. Now, for me, I probably wouldn't do that off the bat. I'd be better off buying a fixing kit, connect it onto that and then onto the vehicle. That way it gives you the ability that you can leave both the van and also the awning where it is, detach it, drive off, come back, makes life an awful lot easier. But what you can also do is there's also a pocket located on here, so a sleeve you can feed a pole into, that can then clamp into a gutter. Saying that, there are some tabs you can actually tie some guy ropes on, throw it over the top of the vehicle and peg it down the other side, so it kind of keeps it all neat and tidy. Now, the fabric we've got here is Outwell's Altex 3000mm high straight head, runs about 70 denier, so it's a lightweight fabric but still very waterproof, and you've got this nice kind of embroidery, so it does actually look really quite premium. We've got ventilation panels around the awning to increase airflow, help sort of fight condensation. And because we've got this kind of geodesic style over your crossover dome pole, it's pretty darn strong really. To beef up Outwell, I've utilised everything they've got in their arsenal. So for example, we've got their kind of storm tie system. So it's the Velcro part which actually it Velcros around the pole. You then Velcro around and seal it, so when you actually pull the guy rope, you're pulling the fabric as well as the pole in one, so it's a much more secure method of attachment. And what you find with any kind of Outwell products is when you've got guy points, what there'll be is actually, even though it's webbing on the end, the webbing strap continues and goes directly into the seam, so it means you've got a much more solid point which you're pulling against, so it means you get better lifespan and it's going to take less wear and tear over time. We've got this lovely big kind of tinted windows. There's also privacy curtains inside as well, to get where you need to sort of get privacy. They typically can go halfway or fully up to the top, but they've got a really nice kind of clarity to them. The main body actually is 2.5 by 2.5 meters, and then we've got a 60cm tunnel section. So it's quite square, it's a decent sort of size, and we've also got this rain-safe canopy door built onto it. So we've got like a smaller fiberglass pole, so we've got 12.7mm main body, it goes into 11s at the top, and I think these are about 7.9mm for the brow canopy, but it means that you've then got, you know, if it's chucking down rain, you can happily come and go through the front door and not have to worry about the rain coming directly in with you. We've got a big, beautiful mesh front door on the model as well. So again, we have airflow, but crucially, this differs to other models, is it zips up not only as a normal door, but more importantly, along the base. So it means you've got a proper seal away from bugs, keeping dogs, kids, that sort of stuff directly in. A sonar and ground sheet is built into the model as well, so again, it gives that real kind of enclosed kind of feel. High visibility guidelines as well just give extra bit of attention, and we've obviously mentioned about how it feeds into the fabric there. Little retainers, little Velcro tabs help you to tidy up quite nice and neatly, and with colour coordinated pegs, some nice plastic pegs as well, just to kind of beef it up. Basically the ring goes into the pin, and actually if you wanted to see how easy this was to pitch, you can check out our own Attwoolls pitching and packing videos. I did this model on my own in the best part of, I think, 13-14 minutes, so ideal for sort of weekends away or even longer stays if you wanted to. This kind of sits in the collection, like I said, in their Rome collection, along with the Frazo, the Pine Hills, and the, not Santa Monica, Tazo, I think it is. So there's a few options to go there. Each have different designs, but all kind of in the same kind of specification. But this one does differ a little bit in terms of kind of nuts and bolts. We've got a door in the tunnel section as well. So we've got a door on both sides. So it means we can access the van without going through the awning every single time. And the door is actually a little bit different, that it zips from the main body towards the van. unlike a lot of other brands don't necessarily do that. So you've got a webbing strap located here as well, so you just height and get looking smart. That's one thing I think I've probably been most impressed with, generally with the way Outwell fit their awnings, is even though I'm kind of on the midpoint of kind of the fitment, on how well it sits and how it just looks tidy. It doesn't look like you're sort of having to strain a load of fabric just to make it look a bit neater. You've got this kind of fold. I don't know what it is. I think it's the way they've kind of cut the fabric and where they've placed their seam and adjustment tabs. It just seems to work quite smartly. When you want to drive away, obviously you can detach the tunnel section. This then rolls back and then toggles around the outer side, and it almost basically is a freestanding gazebo at that point. So there's no reason really why you couldn't necessarily use it in that manner. Let's kind of bring the camera around a bit more to show you the front of it. So let's pop that down there. So as we kind of go through the front section, we obviously got this nice big mesh window. So, but like I said, because it actually zips along the bottom, it's completely thorough. As we go inside, we can roll that back. We've got an auto rain protection door there as well, but that quite simply rolls and toggles back. Now, due to kind of the dome nature itself, even though you have got sort of 2.5 by 2.5 meters in the main body, it probably doesn't initially feel as spacious as you initially think. Headroom height is fine, but because it sort of arcs in a little bit, you don't, I suppose it's not too bad when you've got lower chair levels, but it doesn't seem as big as you may think it would be from a floor plan. That's where other designs maybe feel a bit bigger. I think the Fresno seems a bit bigger in its slightly smaller floor plan. So I think between the two models, I prefer that. But this one has the ability of having a bedroom. So you can actually add a bedroom section into it. And you can put it in sort of, it's going to take up pretty much nearly majority of the space, but you can actually then sleep inside where you haven't got that option on the Fresno. One thing you have in here is actually Outwell's hook track system. So it's the ability of a little track which you can hang lanterns from, little clips, have storage organisers. It takes about 1.5 kilograms of weight. So it's quite strong. Actually, when you think of the cross section, actually, yeah, in terms of how much that braces, that's where it's really quite smart. Into the tunnel section here, it's because it's only sort of a 60cm tunnel, generally it's quite a snug fit. So this kind of, actually because it kind of, the awning leans back a little bit, you do have more room here than you necessarily think. The tunnel door can open from left to right or right to left, depending on which way you're looking at it. And what it does, it means you can kind of mirror what happens with the sliding door. So you can open the sliding door back that way, or for example, if you've got like a UK van, I've got mine, a UK van, but on the other side, so I've got twin doors. But you can actually change the orientation, so this panel rolls back that way, so that way you almost have this little corridor where you can use for storage or put a toilet in or whatever you want to kind of do with it really. But failing that, what you can do is roll that back. Again, zip along the base, so really nice and thorough. So roll that back and then you kind of come into one area. Now this back lip here actually completely drops down. So that way this will be your trip-free access in and out of the actual awning itself. So I can just untoggle that. You can then peg that down. And that's then your trip-free access. And that way it almost kind of brings, by removing that tunnel section completely, it brings kind of the rest of the van directly into it, which I think really quite sits, yeah, it just opens up the space and feels bigger. Certainly when you've got the sliding door and you're looking back from here, even with a table and chairs, it does seem like a good amount of usable space, be it for storage or whatever you're intending on kind of using it for. One thing I think Outwell do really well is actually, they go above and beyond a lot of other brands do in terms of how they seal the taping around the tunnel section. So one thing you find, every seam in that tunnel section, even if it's no classified as like a wet area, because you can never really properly seal it against the vehicle, everything's taped, so you're not a chance of water coming in from any point in there. So it does help to feel it, yeah, it's more weather tight than it would be alternatively. I mean, things like the baffle over the zips, stops water from the zips. You've got obviously tape seams directly in the roof section where it attaches to the tunnel, so again, you're less likely for water to directly wick in. The tunnel width is obviously 2.5 meters, so means you can open the sliding door fully within the tunnel section. We've also got a cable entry point located down here, so it's right near the base of where the hook track system works, so you can actually run your flexible lights directly up, and it obviously sort of stops up here. But The thing I like about this also, which in comparison to the Fresno, you've actually got a lot more windows in here. So actually for us to get natural light in, it seems a lot more spacious and you're almost bringing the outside directly in. So that is one thing I will say, it does feel a little bit more open, if we say that. Let's pick the camera up and kind of have a bit more of a look around it. So again, like to talk about the nature of how it fits and how it sits. I think it's really quite a nice little style. You see how much that canopy comes over the front to protect that sort of front door. We've got a cable entry point located down the bottom here. But even how that door sits, that works really quite well. We've got the different attachment methods, so we can basically put guy ropes onto that, throw it over the top of the vehicle. Different beadings, i.e. the 4mm to go into a wind up or 6mm in the channel. And our sleeve is just located there for a pole and clamp kit. But we've got obviously like the tunnel section, the crossover points. And this is the attachment system here where we go around the pole, sits in really quite smartly. And just, like I said, when you're pulling it, you're pulling all components at once. We've got ventilation points on both sides. So not only one but the other. So you can again get the maximum amount of airflow throughout the awning. And you can see those sort of windows. It does sort of protrude and point directly out from the awning itself. So it comes out from the van rather than say towards the front of the vehicle. But yeah, works really nicely. There's optional kind of range of carpets and things like that as well you can look at. As we kind of come inside, you can see the cable entry point located down the bottom. So that's going to bring the main points directly in. And this is the little kind of hook track system that enables us to hang extra bits in. As for the windows, so again, you see about the light aspect. So you've got great visibility around. And then we've got the mesh points located at the side here as well. Clips to the bedroom, so what you'll find on the floor, this little kind of red toggle points. So that's really going to be the point where it's going to take up kind of, what would say, pretty much nearly half the space, if not a little bit more, in that side of things. And then we've got the tunnel section with the door located there. The internal straps, not only to get the tension, but we've also got one to hold the door in place as well. So that works really quite well. But you can see what I'm talking about. If I come out this way, how it just kind of flows into one section. But yeah, I mean, on the whole, I think it's a really quite nice model. I think it depends on what you're looking for your driveway awning. I think if you're looking for a kind of a compact driveway awning, enough to sort of sleep with some people in there, have your main body, but not necessarily break the bank. Some key core features. I think it does really well. The attention detail for me is the thing I do really like. The zip on the front door and the back door, so you can get the ultimate flexibility you want. Admittedly, the front is a little bit of a trip hazard because it's a little bit higher, but you can go for the back and the side anyway. But at least you got that seal, which it's one of those things that it's a pro and con. Do you want something that's better sealed, or do you want something that's a little bit less of a trip hazard? You've got a way around it where if you haven't got that zip, then there's nothing much you can do really about it. Strong structure, easy to pitch, weighs approximately about 12.7 kilograms, so it's not particularly heavy. You can split the pack and distribute it around. It's quite a small pack size as well. But no, for more information, by all means check the link below this video. Take you through to our website. We've got all the information on pack sizes, floor dimensions, individual features, and everything else you kind of need to know about it, as well as our pitching and packing video is located there as well, so you can have a look at that in the flesh. But hopefully it's been helpful, and we look forward to seeing you again in the next video review. But that's really been our video review on the new Outwell Pine Hill driveway awning, and thank you very much. Feel free to comment in the box below. It's always great to have feedback from you guys as well, be it good, bad, or kind of indifferent as well. But hopefully we'll see you again soon. Thank you.